In this video, we are going to show you how you can deeply connect with your partner and build new trust in just 90 days with our updated ACT relationship blueprint.
And by the end of this video, you are going to know how you can communicate more openly, resolve conflicts more effectively, and create a new foundation for trust and intimacy for an even stronger bond with your partner.
And this is how Laura found back together with her husband after being separated. And to get there, Laura knew that she had to work on herself to rescue the marriage and showing up to be the best wife.
And also how Rainer, just after 3 weeks working with us, completely changed. He got emotionally close to his wife again. And his back pain, where he suffered for years, disappeared and he could enjoy life on a complete new level. And this was a really, really stunning result after such a short time.
Who is this for? You are married and together you want to make your relationship work because you know that things have to change.
And you are married and you want to make your relationship work alone because your partner might not be ready yet. And by showing up as the best boss possible and developing yourself, you can be the change and the catalyst for your new relationship growth.
You are not married yet and seek guidance, so you are going to have the strongest and future proofed relationship.
And we know that your time is valuable. And therefore, if you're not one of these and you're not ready to work on your relationship yet, this is fine. However, then this video is not for you because this video is really for those people who are committed to make your relationship work. So who are we? So we met on the internet in January 1999. So last century, basically. We got together on March 21st, 1999, on a phone call. It was in the middle of the night. I think it was around 1 a.m. I asked her, hey, do you want to be with me? She said, yes, of course, without even having seen me, because at that time there was no webcam. The first time we met was on her 16th birthday on June 21st, 1999, even last century. Also mentioning that we come from very, very, very different backgrounds. I was raised very open and very encouraged. So my parents told me whatever I want to try, I can, because this will just give me learning on if it's good for me or not. And my wife, her parents, they lost a child
Before me.
before you, yes. And therefore they were very protective of her. And once you wanted to try something, they rather said, no, don't try that because you might get hurt and you might get disappointed. And yeah, you might suffer from that. So they rather told her not to try anything, just to protect her. And therefore you got very insecure.
Yeah. Very shy, very scared of basically everything new. Talking to people was very scary for me. And yeah, I had to be home before it was getting dark and all that kind of stuff. So, and basically, this all led to bullying in school because I was the one who had to be early home all the time. I was the one who got bullied at school daily, and that really affected my self confidence.
The first 1 year, basically, we had a long distance relationship. We lived about 240 kilometers apart. I was there almost every weekend. And when we met, she was very, very, very attached. And even after I moved there in 2000, she was extremely attached. And at some point, some friends of me and my parents told me, hey, are you really sure that you want to spend the rest of your life with Nadine? Because she is really difficult. She's really attached. She is really jealous. This is so difficult. And I was committed to her. I loved her and I wanted to make this thing work. I wanted to make the marriage work. We got married in 2004. The proposal was very unromantic because I got a job offer in the US for 5 years. So, and in order that she can come with me on a visa, we had to get married.
And that was basically my proposal. There were no red roses or him on his knees, how you really, think about and how a proposal should be. It was like, hey, if you want to move with me to the US, we have to get married. Otherwise, you have to move out of the States again after 90 days. So that was my proposal. But I said yes.
Yeah, you did. Also mentioning that the years that at that time we basically had no sex life.
Right.
So we barely had sex, and if we had sex, it was a Sunday evening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was it. And it was very difficult for me because I wanted to have intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to have the closeness. It was not all about sex, but also about being close to her. She was always saying, I'm tired. I don't want to, not today. And this was really difficult for me. And I actually was considering cheating on her. I never did. And it was very difficult. And yeah, we moved to the US in November 2004. So we got two children in the US. Our son was born in April 2006,
Mm-hmm.
and our daughter in December 2008. Because we had no parent there, we had to make everything work alone. I worked 12-hour shifts from 11 to 11 without traveling time. So I was like away from 10:30 in the morning to 11:30 in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
And you had to take care of the kids alone.
Right. That was challenging though at the beginning.
So, and we made it work. And I think the first couple of weeks in the US, that was challenging because she was so attached and so insecure,
Mm-hmm.
and especially about your English language,
Yeah.
that she was always coming with me to work. And at one point, my coworkers told us, "Hey, this is not going to work. You cannot be at the job like all the time. Hey, you have your own life."
This was something I had to learn though.
Yeah.
To be by myself, to go out by myself, to go shopping by myself in a complete different country, a complete different surroundings with people I don't knew, and I had no friends at that time, and that was really challenging.
Yeah, I mean, I think with the birth of our son, a lot of things changed, and
Yes.
even before that, she was getting more independent, and
Mhm.
that was a great time. It was a really great time. In 2011, then we got married a second time on May 28th, 2011, exactly 7 years later. But in that time, I struggled a lot with my mental health. I actually struggled the whole my whole 20s. I struggled with that. I had a lot of problems with imposter syndrome. At that time, I don't think that imposter syndrome was really well known, but I was always feeling like a fraud. I was always anxious about getting laid off, getting fired, because people will find out that I wasn't good enough at my job. And this was going on, yeah, the whole time. In the US, it was a little bit less. In Germany, it was more. So yes, it was a constantly battle against my mind, and I was waking up every morning, going actually afraid to job, not hoping that I get laid off. It was crazy. Basically, hitting rock bottom in 2013 after being diagnosed with some chronic blood disorder I have, also with high blood pressure, which was not very well, and or some other stuff where my doctor told me, Mr. Rankin, if you're not going to change your life in a very dramatic and drastic way, you're not going to see your children growing up anymore. You have to get your shit together, basically, and yeah, make things work.
For me, this time was really challenging as well. I couldn't help Niels with his issues he had, and I felt completely overwhelmed since I had to take care of the kids, I had to take care of myself. I felt like I was struggling with everything around me, in me, and I didn't know where to go basically. And I didn't know how to figure out what was wrong with me.
Yeah, and then we had a huge change in our life. As mentioned, it was triggered by the doctor telling me, you have to get your shit together. We had a very serious talk, if I can remember.
Mhm.
So we had to do something, and this is where our self-development journey started, and on our own individual paths, because we had such different issues. Because I had my health issues, I had my mental problems with my imposter syndrome and everything connected.
And I
And
had my self-confidence issues.
your self-confidence issues, your insecurity.
Overwhelming insecurity and not feeling aligned with my body and not feeling like I could be myself. I didn't know how to basically talk about my emotions. That was a big thing.
Yeah, and this was, I mean, we have, at that time we were in a complete different levels in our life. We had to work through that on separate ways. There was no possibility to do that together because it was completely different.
Yeah.
And we made it happen. It's like God helped us at some point, I guess.
Mhm.
Yeah, or but whoever is there, the greater power, helped us to go through that, helped us to guide the way, helped us with the healing, and we had to figure out our own ways. And this is where a lot of our blueprint that we created, the ACT relationship blueprint, comes from that
Yeah.
journey and from our experience that we had going through that. And this was a huge transformation that we made happen in this 5 years. 5 years is a long time. We had a lot of setbacks during the time, and we had a lot of
Challenges in our
challenges,
relationship.
but we made it happen. And I think this is the greatest achievement that we had in our relationship these 5 years. This is us now. We are now together 25 years and 20 years married. A couple of years ago, it didn't look like that we were going to make it.
Not at all.
However, we, against all odds, we
We
are
did.
stronger than ever. And I think that that's the biggest learning that we had. Every struggle we've been through made us even stronger. And even if we had our separate paths, however, our separate journeys we went through made our relationship even stronger.
So what is the problem really? We had to go through it the hard way. We had no guidance. We had basically we had to figure out everything by ourselves. We had lots of setbacks because we had no one that was helping us during that time. Nobody hold us accountable, and we often got back into that old habits which made this process taken over several years.
We tried to go through a lot of books and
Mm.
the podcasts that have been available during the time, and all these books that we read and the podcasts that we listened to and the friends' advices we got that didn't really help us. How could we make them fit to our situation? Because nothing really fit. And this is the main problem. If you are listening to all these podcasts and you can read all the relationship books in the world, however, they are not tailored to your specific issue, and they're often just general advices. Making them fit to your situation is difficult because you are already biased by your situation. Couple therapy can sometimes be difficult because couple therapy is great if you have trauma and if things are happening in the past. However, a lot of couples that we work with told us that they find it hard because they don't have any guidance for the future. They'll say they miss these actionable steps that they actually need to go forward.
And with you having family and friends who love to give advices, we know that ourselves, but often that can cause even more harm than good.
As I mentioned earlier, if I would have listening to the family and friends, this relationship wouldn't be there. And this is how it is.
Now you can get the same results in just 90 days. Our approach goes beyond quick fixes. We focus on the root causes of relationship issues, not just the symptoms. And imagine waking up to a relationship filled with understanding, joy, and love, and this daily.
And we have a lot of clients that have these stunning results in a really, really short time, and often even less than 4 weeks.
It's like Denise. She really had stunning results already in the first 3 weeks of coaching, even that her friends noticed it. And because she changed so much for the better, her positive changes also affected her surroundings in a positive way.
And Maximilian, and he had really anger issues, and he's in a relationship for 20 years. And now he's able to control his anger much better, and he's also a better listener for his partner. And even Paul and Megan, and they just started recently with us. And after 2 weeks already, they told us they haven't been able to communicate on this level since years. So even if they have arguments now, they don't turn into fight anymore because they know how to handle arguments now in a better way. And again, this after just 2 weeks in coaching with us. This is incredible. So why are you struggling? And a lot of things have to do with your communication because you don't listen carefully to each other. You always have this accusatory language of like, hey, you always do this, you never do this. I always work, you never do. You miss the feeling of understanding. You avoid difficult conversations, and people don't see the view of other person. And there's also like unresolved issues. Sometimes like whatever surfaces, and you argue about, there are deeper underlying issues. For example, issues that are up from childhood that haven't been addressed, or betrayal in previous relationships that haven't been addressed. And they are always coming up in the way of being very emotionally, when it comes to discussions, trying to avoid them or being very angry. A lot of couples may not be aware of because they don't think that the anger they have or the thing they handle are such deeply rooted. You don't control your emotions. And this is where emotionally always runs very high when it comes to arguments. And this then leads often to stonewalling or shutting down, to criticize your partner or to be very defensive. And when couples kind of regulate their intense emotion, the communication will break down completely, and problem solving isn't impossible at all. And this is where couples coaching comes in very handy, because it will bring this eagle eye view, the external view that can pinpoint these issues. You don't see that yourself because you're often very biased by your situation, by your view.
So let's ask you a question. Don't you agree that transforming your marriage is extremely valuable? And wouldn't saving your relationship from the immense costs, both financially and emotionally, be priceless? And you want to protect your children from the damaging effects of an unhappy marriage, right?
And going forward with your relationship as it is right now is simply self destructing, isn't it? So, creating a new foundation of love and trust and respect and having a better communication, that should be the top priority for your relationship, isn't it?
And this is why we created an even more effective framework and named it the ACT Relationship Blueprint. So you will have stunning results even sooner, and you can already implement things today. So I would say let's walk you through the 3 steps so you can really act on your relationship. And this is all science based. This is no hocus pocus.
So, first of all, you have the effective communication framework. Communication is everything. If you don't have communication in your relationship basically is dead. So, you're going to focus on truly hearing your partner. So, you both feel deeper understanding and valued. And being present and listening is very important.
And while being a better listener and being able to truly hear your partner, you can express your thoughts and feelings so you can better support each other and reducing conflicts.
This all will improve your everyday ways how to talk and to listen so you both feel heard and respected. Imagine chatting about everything without distress. Because a good communication is 80% being a great listener.
And the second one is the trust and intimacy framework. You overcome past hurts and start a new foundation of trust for an even stronger bond. So you can move forward and renew your commitment to your relationship. And you will get close and connected again with your better communication and new trust, because that will create another new foundation for these deep emotional talks you're going to have to discover yours and your partner's love language. You both feel more appreciated. You're going to have more hugs, more loves, and those special moments you've been missing for so long, like in the early days when you guys met and dated each other.
And with these new foundation of trust and connection, you will find new ways to have more fun and more intimacy, and resulting in more satisfaction in your partnership. And last but not least, the conflict handling framework. This is the last part of our framework. And this is about controlling your emotions during conflict so they don't get out of hand. And that will help you find good solutions.
You will be coming from a calm state. You resolve conflicts more constructively by understanding each other's perspectives. So you can address issues directly and build a stronger relationship foundation, as every conflict is an opportunity to make your relationship strong again.
And now you can turn conflicts into opportunities for understanding and growth. And this allows you to build a more resilient relationship founded on trust as you discover new possibilities together through disagreements that were previously unseen.
You will be able to let go of old hurts and anything pulling you apart. This creates a deep emotional and physical connection that strengthens your bond.
You have the space in your relationship where you can freely express yourself, where you don't feel judged anymore and you feel accepted and you know that you can share and that everything that you have as a problem, you both know that you can find the solution for it.
Because you're both supporting each other.
Who is this for? If you're married and you together want to make your relationship work because you guys know that things have to change.
And you are married and you want to make your relationship work alone by showing up as the best spouse possible and developing yourself because your partner may not be ready yet.
Or you're not married yet and you seek guidance so that you are going to have the strongest and future proof relationship. What's next? So from here on, you have two options. So there's option one, and this is you can implement everything alone. It will take a lot of time and it will probably causes a lot of tension in your marriage
Mhm.
as there's a lot of trial and error involved. This is not only time consuming, it can even make things worse. And also because you don't have someone to ask. And most likely you will pay with time and with your partners and with your kids and with your own mental well being.
Or option two, where you get a shortcut together with a structured guidance from two experienced coaches supporting you and your partner on every step of your way. And most of our clients see improvements already in the first 4 weeks working with us. The mental well being of you, your partner, and your kids should be high priority, right?
So, what are you going to do with all this information and when are you starting implementing?
Contact us now. The worst thing that can happen is you gaining clarity. So if you're ready for change, book your call now.
And we can't wait to talk to you and hear your story.
Imagine the impact on every aspect of your and your children's life when you have a happy and loving relationship. That's what we do here.
We hope you have a wonderful day. And remember, follow us for more insights into building a stronger and happier marriage.
We are looking forward to meeting you and hear from you and thrive in your relationship. Bye bye.
Goodbye.